today. I know I've talked about this before, but we're talking about it again, and I've got some um, not updated information, but I wrote the script again a little bit differently. I think we'll have a really great chat. Good morning, Nietzsche. Good morning, the Brass Kettle. How is everyone doing? Good morning. Good morning. How are things? Style me, style you. Hello. How are you? Who else came in? Friend Ross. Hello. PC3. Hello. Bounty. What's up? Hello. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Okay. And let's see. Sorry. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to share your shows and ask your questions. Erica, hello, how are you? Um, we are, good morning, Sophie. Brass Kettle, hello, how are you doing? We are going to be talking about attracting buyers today. Dave, good morning, how are you? Thank you so much, Dave. Mom of 10 hens. Oh my gosh, I love that name. Brittany, welcome in. East Coast Mom, living the dream. Hello, hello, Mary Lack. Good morning, good morning. Um, I'm gonna focus on grad week. Oh, that must be sad in some ways, isn't it? When you've got students you actually like. Some students not so much, but others. Souvenir d'Afrique. I didn't say that right. I apologize. Je suis très désolée. Um, Hello, thank you for sharing the show. Cheryl's Crafty World. Hi, welcome in. Bjorn to Rock. Oh my God, I love that name so much. Welcome in, everybody. Okay, so we're talking about attracting buyers. If you have other questions or you have questions at all, put a question mark beside it because then I will see it because it will come up as yellow. Because I'm going to move the main chat over on my other screen to just that. It makes it look like I got a bun in my hair, doesn't it? Oh well, it's there. It's staying. So put a question mark. You can test it out now so you can see how it looks. It will turn yellow if you put a question mark. So if you want to get your host's attention, put a question mark in. I will be talking about attracting buyers, but then we're going to go into other questions that you have. So if you have a question and it just comes to your mind, just ask it. If it's related to what we're talking about, then thank you, Dave. Hello, Lone Wolf. Then I will talk about it during that part, but otherwise we will get to it at the end. So I apologize. If you can't stay for the whole thing, you can rewatch this on YouTube at the Red Rooster CA. We are live now on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook, and on Twitch, because, it might as well. And so hello to the Twitchers out there who are watching. There's usually a couple of wonderful Twitchers who watch. Okay, so I have, as usual, I have a whole pile of paper. I have a long, but I'm going to try and go point form as opposed to script because I feel like I enjoy point form better. I also want to note in my show notes, I have a link to get this. This guide was created by Whatnot Sellers, the community team at Whatnot put this guide together for you called Attracting Buyers, Tips and Tricks for Live Selling. It's not just one page. I just printed off the cover. It's got wonderful quotes from a lot of wonderful people, including myself. But the link is up in the show notes, and if you're listening right now, it is whatnot.info/attracting buyers. All one word, all lowercase. Whatnot.info/attracting buyers. It is a really great guide that will help you to get started to understanding how to attract buyers. I want to do kind of like a deep dive into a lot of things, so I apologize if I get too academic. Hopefully I won't. I want to talk a lot about buyer psychology because I think that's important to understand is the psychology behind why people make the decisions that they make or that they don't make, that they don't come into your shows. Because a lot of people say, why doesn't anyone come into my shows? I have all these great things and nobody comes there. So this is for you or for if you want to expand your Whatnot business. Hi, Big Sky Country Finds and Style Patch Kids. Oh my gosh, I love that name. What was that about? Something just beeped. I don't know why. That was kind of weird and worrisome. Okay. So let's start off with this is one of the most common questions after shipping. It's how can I attract more buyers? How can I get more people into my shows? And it's not a simple response. It's not like, oh, all you need to do is this or flip this switch and that's all there is to it. Just like if you had a brick and mortar store, you can't just like open the store and people are just going to come, right? Like, yeah, some people are going to walk in because they were on the street and they saw that you had an open sign and they wandered in. But a lot of people are just going to walk by. They're just going to walk right by you. Same thing in a mall. You can't just open a store in a mall and expect that everyone's just going to suddenly come into your store. It's not that simple. And Whatnot um, is a platform for you. It is a tool you can use in your business. It's one of many tools that are available online for resellers, for people who want to sell. It's an amazing tool. It is, of course, my favorite tool. Um, but it is a tool. It's a platform. It's not an advertising agency. Its job is not to force people to come into your rooms. It is to give you the opportunity to have people come into your rooms. On my YouTube channel, you will find a three-part. I did this the first time that I did an attracting buyers show. It took me 3 hours to go through everything. I am not going to be doing another deep dive like that. But if you want to, you can go to my YouTube channel at the Red Rooster CA, and you will find a 3 hour. It's divided into three parts because it was impossible to upload. This was before I had the ability to multicast to YouTube. So it's a long. So we are going to start with the human part of all of this, and I want to make something really super clear. You cannot be all things to all people on this app or anywhere else in life. Be yourself, and you will find your people, and your people will find you. So that whole find your vibe, find your tribe. I want you to remember you can't be all things to all people. But if you are yourself, you will find your people, your buyers, and you will build your community that way. Um, so I'm going to start first with some of the buyer psychology. Now, when the brain is scrolling, and the brains have changed a bit because of the fact that we scroll all the time. Our brains have a very our brains are making really quick snap judgments. You may think, I don't judge, I'm not a judgy person. Guess what? Our brains judge all the time. They're making judgments. And the one of the things that the brain does is it's looking for things that are interesting, that are going to give it a dopamine hit. It's also looking for reducing risk. It's still worried about looking for the tiger coming out of the jungle, right? Um, so your brain reacts in milliseconds to decide whether or not to stop and look further at a thumbnail or to go into a show. So there's your subconscious and then there's your conscious. So I want to take you through this. So the brain reacts in milliseconds to make these quick judgments. When scrolling is involved, we don't give our brain time to fully analyze. So it is relying a lot on pattern recognition. Um, and it is relying a lot on just very first quick impressions. Now, the decision of whether to stay or scroll is is done within point one, so a tenth of a second to half of a second. Okay, so like no time at all, the brain decides whether or not to stop. Um, so you have that first tenth of a second to make a first impression. Then you have a quarter of a second to half a second. The brain will say, okay, I think I'm going to pause for a second and investigate this. And then you only have 1 to 3 seconds before the brain decides whether or not to stay or scroll. Um, and Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky talked about this in their prospect theory. And I'm not going to go into this in detail. I did my last time I did this. But the thing is that our brains, they talked about something called mental shortcuts or heuristics. Our brains don't analyze anything very deeply. We use shortcuts. And in live selling, those shortcuts happen really fast. So, live selling, because we use shortcuts, heuristics to make fast decisions, live selling is a fast decision environment. So, those shortcuts are in overdrive. So, the brain is on quick thinking, millisecond um, moves. And the first line of defense really is your thumbnail. And I want to talk about thumbnails for a little bit longer than I have previously, because I think they're like, if you're going to attract buyers when you're a newer seller or you're struggling to build your business, your thumbnail is your first line of defense. It is super important. It needs to be simple, clear. The text needs to be minimal and visible. Um, so I will come back. Okay, so let's talk again about how the brain makes decisions and how that works with thumbnails. So with that tenth of a second to half of a second, your brain goes through phase one. Hi Pickles, hi Nana's Nifty Thrifting. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. So your pattern recognition first. Your brain says, what is it? Is it for me? Is it interesting? In point one to half of a second. So bright contrast, faces, real animal or mascot, eyes. If eyes actually, just having a pair of eyes somewhere on your thumbnail will actually stop the brain. It's fascinating. You want to use large recognizable objects, large shapes. You don't want to have a bunch of little things all over the place. And you definitely don't want to have a lot of text all over the place. Eleni's daughter, hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. So phase two. Okay. So within point one to half of a second, your brain says, all right, let's look at this a little bit more. So it goes to phase two, and then it starts reading. The largest text is what it's going to read, not the smallest text. This is point 0.5 to 2 seconds. This is the phase two. It's looking at the main image. So you want it to be 2 to 5 words maximum. That's the ideal world. Is if you can't get it across in 5 words, then rethink how you're going to advertise your show. If you need to ask a robot how to explain your show in 5 words or less, do it, or ask your brother, whoever, whatever. You want one dominant image and oh, I read this, and one clear message. One clear message in the text. Then if the brain says, okay, yeah, I'm interested, I think, then it goes to phase three. So with less than 2 to 3 seconds, do I click, do I watch, or do I keep scrolling? And oftentimes in phase two, in that first 2 seconds, the brain will say click. And so you click in, and then you've only got 2 to 5 seconds before the brain says, yeah, you know what, forget it, let's move on. So it is really vitally important that you have thumbnails that people are going to click into. Good morning, Kay. How are you? So with only half a second of time, you need to make sure that your thumbnail is really clear. And I've explained a little bit about that. But so some studies that have been done on thumbnails in other environments on YouTube, a split test of thousands of YouTube thumbnails showed that well-designed custom thumbnails increase clicks by 30%. Another study showed that visible appearance studies of online ads using millions of impressions found that there were strong relations between good design and high click-through rates, obviously. And then in 2024, there was an analysis of 16,000 over 16,000 YouTube thumbnails, and they found that thumbnail brightness, contrast, color temperature, and emotional expression, some sort of emotional expression in the thumbnail, whether by the human going or ooh, or an animal or a mascot, like I use a mascot in my thumbnails, all those significantly influence views. So it doesn't matter what the platform is, visuals always win. And whatnot thumbnails follow the exact same psychology. So you want to have thumbnail brightness, high contrast, so that it's easy to read the text, easy to see what the images are. A nice, either if make sure your color temperature matches your branding. Um, and emotional expressions if you can. Um, Nova says this has all been overused since AI took over. All the thumbnails are way overdone. Yes, absolutely. AI thumbnails are actually going against, which is ridiculous. You'd think an AI tool would give you the most attractive thumbnail for the psychology of the brain, because this information is all available online. So, but no, AI thumbnails give you extremely cluttered. And lately, I've been seeing there is a human something in the middle. There'll be something human, like someone going hey, and that works. But then it's got all these things around it and surrounded by things, and then there's like a bar with something, and then below that there's like something, 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 something with like, it's they all look the same. And that's boring to people. It's boring to people's brains. They're looking for something different. The brain is attracted to something different and it can't read all of that information. If AI pumps out, yeah, we can see the AI now. It's so obvious. I do use AI. I do use AI, but I tell AI how to do it in a way that's going to work for my brand and my business. I don't just say, "I'm having an estate sale show tomorrow. Can you make me a thumbnail? This is the kind of stuff I'm going to sell." It just pumps out garbage. Garbage in, garbage out is what my father used to say. He was a programmer. So here's one of the things that AI does not do. Afrique, I get it now. Says sorry. Psychology too. People tend to go and stay in a show that already had many people watching. Bid not necessarily. Not there is a herd mentality that some people will go into busy shows just because there's a lot of people in it, and Whatnot's algorithm will show you busier shows because they think that is what you want to see. But people will find you there. Oftentimes people don't want to go into the busy crowds. There's Most of us don't want to be in the crowd. um what do you think of it being a thumbnail of a collage of pics of items in your show? Mama 10 hens, that works really well as long as it's not too cluttered. If I can't see, remember, it's like this big on just this less than this big on your screen, right? So if you when you look at it, when you get a thumbnail made by Canva, or wherever you make a thumbnail, it's going to be your whole screen that's going to show up. But I want you to squish it down until it's like this big. Okay, I want you to squish it down until it's the size of a Whatnot thumbnail that people are scrolling past, because they're not seeing they don't see until they come into your show before a show starts. They don't see your thumbnails. So it needs to be okay, like Rebecca's Relics. Now that's AI generated, but that's simple design. You can see there's Rebecca, there's the information. She's got the top part is not full of stuff, it's blank. And you can see at the bottom exactly what she's selling. But it's so I know I just zoomed in on it, but it's like this big, right? It's this big. It's this big. So I want you to squish it down, because if you have too much information, it's going to, yeah, it's 180 by 1920. If you're using Canva, I just use the Instagram reel size because it's pretty much the same. I'm still learning the Ray Train app. Is there room on the can? There's Hi Melody. Yes, there's room on the Canada Day Raid Train. There is one, maybe two spots. There's one person that hasn't booked their shows yet. So there's might be one spot available on July 2nd too, but July 1st has one opening right now. July 1st has one opening. July 2nd might have one opening. Okay, so if you notice, let me show you again. Um, if you notice, okay. So if you notice, can you see how the top here, the first word, I can't read what that says. I know that I can figure it out down here, but it's covered up because of the overlay. You see the overlay that's on there? It is really super important that you think about the overlay as well. Um, K Mind Your Ink says it's important about wording too. People love simple words like sale, BOGO, free, especially free. Yes, but you don't need to do free. Um, so you want to make sure that you're thinking about the overlay that's going to go on the top. So you don't want text all the way at the top because it's going to get cut off by the overlay that Whatnot puts on. Um, so keep your text down low. Um, Place your main title in the center band. Place what you want people to see in the center band. That's where brains are. That's where brains look, is in the center. Um, uh, Humans read the center first always. Your title should be 2 to 5 words. 2 to 5 words, bold, high contrast, and easy to read at a tiny size. If you can't see it, if you hold your phone back away from you, not like this, if you hold your phone back and you can't read any of the words or some of the words, then you need to adjust your thumbnail text. Um, Thumbnails with large, bold titles increase click through rates across multiple platforms because text readability is directly linked to user action. Yes, keep it simple and keep it short and simple. Yes, absolutely, Canadian Brick Cafe. Kiss. Keep it short and simple. So subtitles. If you want to use a subtitle, you want to put those in the lower third, and any icons will go in the lower third. For example, you might want to put that you have what your price is going to be. Like you're going to do $5 starts or $10 starts, or an emoji or an icon. Um, there's actually a Z pattern or Z pattern of visual scanning, which is a documented behavior. So if you have, they're going to start at the top, they're going to focus on the center, and then they're going to go down to the bottom. So you want to be that center, and then your subtitles should be below, not above. Some people put like their subtitle above their title. Don't do that. Okay, we talked about mascots. High contrast is super important. I cannot stress how important high contrast is, because if you put if you put text over top of an image, so say you took a picture of the Wade Whimsies you were going to sell. You have a table full of them and you took a picture of it, and then you put a title over top that says Wade Whimsy Extravaganza or something. Um, but the color that you used for the text is just one plain color, and in some spots the Wade Whimsies are melding into your text. You want to make sure that you, oh, thank you, PB&J, you're so sweet. Everyone, please follow PB&J Trading. Thank you so much. Canadian Brick Cafe says having a human sacrifice or demonic offerings will not improve the show's appeal. Not for most people, no. But to each his own. Um, so you want to don't that means bright backgrounds with dark contrast. Don't do dark or dark backgrounds with light contrast. Don't do dark on dark or light on light. It is not going to pop. One of the things that you can do if you're using Canva, and you want to make your own, and you're using a collage of different pictures or one picture of items, is in Canva you can change the text to have shadows or outlines that will make it pop. So just use another contrasting color. So if you want to have black text, have a white or a bright color like yellow behind it, a neon glow. Yeah, there's a neon glow text you can use that will help to make it pop off of the photo or the image that you have behind it. Okay, we've done that. So the other thing is that Nana's Nifty 13 says, I'm back and forth on changing my thumbnail, but I've been on long enough that I feel people won't recognize it's me. So thinking consistency is better. So you could incorporate, so you could start by taking your logo, your little circle that we all see, and putting that in the middle or the top corner so that we see, oh, it's Nana's Nifty Thrifting, and this is what she's doing. So you can do that Z pattern to do your logo, and then what the text is, and then whatever you want in images down below or whatever. So you could do that instead to kind of transition so they can still see it's you. It is consistency is good. It's just a matter of, do they recognize, what is it about you that they recognize? So if it's your logo or it's your face, use whatever it is they recognize. But if you find that your thumbnail is working fine, then carry on. That's the thing, is you can do whatever you want. Um, you want to create emotion too. So is there something that's going to draw people in? What's the why about coming into your show? What is it that's going to attract them? Is what emotion? Is it excitement? Is it mystery? Is there an urgency? Because this is the last time, clear out. There's urgency with that, right? There's the fear of missing out on that. Is there value, like you're doing low starts? Or is it something more comfortable, like you're doing something that's um, emotion, providing emotional dopamine, in that you're going to have a more chill show, or you're going to be providing some sort of extra community benefit. You're doing something community oriented. um, Emotion helps, shows up visibility. So adding a little bit of emotion into that, whatever that may be for you and your show, everybody's different. That's the thing about Whatnot. There are like 50 million ways to Whatnot. Um, Now, I'm not going to go into the examples because I've done that before. So I'm just going to say your thumbnail is your handshake. Um, uh, Hello, Will Quebec. How are you? Yes, we need to help each other. Exactly. So your thumbnail is your handshake. It's the first impression, and the research has been really loud and clear. The better your visuals, the more clicks, the more buyers. The less noise that you have in your thumbnail. Make it as simple as possible. Remember, you've got half a second. No, Donnybrook, need to. I'm not going to Donnybrook either, but I can't. I can't justify it. I want to, but I can't justify it. So it's your first impression. So you don't need to be a designer. You just need to follow some simple rules. If you apply these rules today, your show traffic can possibly go up. Um, so where's my okay? I've got a lot of pages here. Okay, so you've improved your thumbnail. So you've got a thumbnail that's worth the brain stopping and taking half a second to look at, right? You've only got 0.1 to half a second for the brain to decide, do I go to phase 2 and start investigating more? But now you've gotten them to the point where they've clicked in. You've clicked them in, and now what? So you can have an amazing thumbnail, but then if your show is not also, um, if your show doesn't match the vibe of your thumbnail, you're going to have disappointed people. Or if your show thumbnail promises something like low starts or $1 starts, and then they come into your room and you're not doing $1 starts, they're going to leave again. Because if that's what attracted them in, if you use that in your thumbnail, you wanted to attract them in with that. And I've seen this in way too many shows lately, folks. You put $1 starts and then you're not doing $1 starts. I don't think you should do $1 starts at all. So don't even advertise it, okay? If you're going to do something, truth in advertising is really important. So if you are going to do low starts, then you have to do low starts. You have to follow through. Whether you like it or not, you have to follow through on what you promised. You are advertising. Your thumbnail is not just, if you were to put an ad in the newspaper and say everything is going to start at $1 in this auction, and then you didn't start it at $1, you'd be legally liable. Why is it that you think that you can do that on Whatnot and not have any legal ramifications, right? Whether or not someone sues you, that's another thing. It's probably not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen. But they're going to lose trust in you instantaneously. And are they going to come back again? Because your brain remembers. Your brain remembers that, oh, I went into Bob's Burgers and such on whatnot, and Bob's Burgers and hopefully there isn't somebody named Bob's Burgers and such. Bob's Burgers and such and fries. I went into their show. They said they were going to do $5 starts, but everything was starting at $20. The brain remembers that and goes, "Oh, I see Bob's Burgers and fries and such." And I'm not no, we're going to scroll past that. We're not going to click in cuz the brain goes, "No, remember? They lied." And you lose trust. So your thumbnail is part of the trust. And that just doesn't apply to if your thumbnail says you're going to sell, I don't know. Your thumbnail says you're going to sell postcards and then your entire show is books and vintage decor. That erodes trust. And trust is vital because the brain remembers that and you want to keep them coming back, right? So you got them to click in. Your thumbnail matches what you're actually doing in your show. The vibe matches, so you don't have like a bright, exciting, like Pokemon style woo thumbnail, and then they come in and it's like, "Hello, how is everyone today? Are we having a lovely day today? Let us all take a moment to breathe." If that's your style, if that's what you're going to do in your show, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it works really well for lots of people to be yourself. And if that's yourself, your thumbnail should match that. So if you are soft and gentle and just a big warm hug, if that's your show, is just a big, soft, warm hug, then that's what your thumbnail should look like. Match your vibe. Your thumbnail should match your vibe so when they come into the room, they get what was promised in the thumbnail. Yeah, Canadian Brick Cafe says, be true to you. Putting on a persona that isn't you will wear yourself out. It is impossible. And you can see this in politics. It is impossible to keep up a persona. The real of you will come through, and people can sniff out a fake way too fast now. So don't try to be somebody that you're not. It is not worth it. It is not worth your mental energy. Be yourself and don't worry. If you are very niche and you think I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody likes me. And I'm okay with that. I've been okay with that for a long time. I've been okay with not being everybody's cup of tea for a very long time. And some of you are probably still working on that. But I think the key thing is if you're going to be on Whatnot, that you need to know that not everyone's going to like you. And that's just the way it is. Just like I don't like there are stores in the mall that I don't go into cuz I just don't like that. I don't like that, right? It's not me. So Genji, hello, hello. How are you? So, and Genji, coffee. Coffee prefers coffee, a cup of coffee. Um, so again, like I said at the beginning, um, you cannot be all things to all people. Don't even try. Be yourself, and your people will follow. And if that means it's not thousands of people in your room or hundreds of people in your room or even dozens of people in your room, that doesn't mean you can't be successful on Whatnot. You can be successful on Whatnot and sell and make money with 5 or 10 people in the room. I do it all the time. Do it all the time. I don't have hundreds of people in my room, and I'm okay with that. Vintage Homestead says, should okay, that's a good question, Vintage Homestead. I will get to that. Yeah. Um, so Elaine's daughter says, being yourself takes a while. I think was so nervous in my first show I babbled. But that's okay. That's you. But that's okay. I bet you people loved that. I bet you people were like, oh, isn't she sweet and just herself? People love sweet and themselves. So Vintage Homestead asked a really great question. So I'm gonna get to that. So you've gotten people into your show. Now you've set the vibe and you're gonna live that vibe. Um, so she asked, I'm new to selling vintage decor, so I don't have my shelves set up yet. Should I do all of that? Because just pulling things from bins isn't working. So yeah, if you feel like, I just pull unboxing is not working for me, I need to have some stuff behind me, and then maybe people can shop my shelves and I want to start listing, then do that. I'm going to be starting Like I'm in a temporary space right now, so it's chaos. It's mass chaos behind me because I'm in a temporary space while things are fixed. Um, and one of the things is that I'm going to start listing some of my items that I've pulled and they're on the shelves. So definitely want you to think about that. If you want to have a space behind you that looks the way you want it to look, right? That gives that vibe and that people can then shop the shelves. The key thing is that if you're going to do shelf scanning, is don't just scan and wait for someone to say something. Grab something and talk about that item and say, if you see anything else, let me know. I'm going to run this item and just run as you scan. Grab something, run it. Then someone else will say, oh, what about that red thing behind it? Or what about that little doll in the corner? And then you can grab that and run that. And then when there's no requests, grab something else and run that. When you have scan shows where you don't actually run stuff, the algorithm doesn't like that. um, and you want to keep running. Just keep selling. Just always be selling. Just keep selling. Just keep swimming. So keep grab something, touch and run. Keep going. Um, Canadian Bread Cafe says, I'm working on having shelves lit up behind me that show my collection and also items I have for sale. Absolutely. And Genji says, talk about why you like it. Yeah, talk about why you like the item. There's so much, there's so many stories involved in the item. I often find that if I start telling the story of the item and how it was made, suddenly it's more interesting to buy. Um, and Canadian Bread Cafe says, having interesting items with a story is always fun. Um, Souvenir d'Afrique says, is it much better to list items in the storefront for people to see before and during shows? That's up to you. Um, yes, the stats on Whatnot have shown that quality listings, pre-listing items is extremely helpful. But if you do not have the time for that, my suggestion would be to start with, if you're going to do unboxings or random pulls, but you've got some special stuff, then then I suggest that what you do is start every day, just do list 5 items or take 15 minutes. You'll get faster and you'll do more the more often you do a daily listing where you just sit down. Maybe it's after breakfast or after dinner. You just sit down for 15, 20 minutes and you list as much as you can in that time. You will end up, if you do that for 30 days, you will end up with a huge amount of inventory already listed. So don't try to do it all at once. It's too much. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Vintage Home says, so do people like to see the host or just the items? I've not shown my face on camera yet, just scanned and talked. You know what? There's lots of successful sellers on Whatnot who never show their face at all. And there's other successful sellers on Whatnot who never not show their face. Um, it is what's comfortable for you. And maybe at the beginning or sometimes in the middle, if somebody, if there's like, you might want to show your face, but if you don't want to, don't worry about it. It's not absolutely necessary to show your face. Does it, from a buyer psychology standpoint, does it help? Yes. But at the same time, if people are there to buy your stuff, they don't really want to see your face. They want to see the stuff up close and personal. Um, Budget Baddie Boutique, welcome in. This is what we're talking about this morning. Absolutely. So we talked about thumbnails earlier. You can rewatch this on my YouTube channel at the Red Rooster CA. We're on to talking about what do you do when you get people to click onto your thumbnail and come into your show. That's what we're talking about now. So it's totally up to you. If Vintage Homestead, if that works for you to just be the items are the showcase, not yourself, then keep doing that. And if one day you decide you want to flip the camera, flip the camera. Don't worry. I no longer worry about how I look. I don't get all zhuzhed up like I used to. You guys will survive. I like the story of how I got an 8x10 photo signed by the original Scotty or the clerk's laser. Yes, that is so cool. Telling stories about the items you have. Um, it also helps fill time and space, right? So it's not just that awkward silence. Um, Genji says, I don't show my face. It makes it way easier for me to talk and sell. Yeah, absolutely. Canadian Brick Cafe says, you do you. I like being seen so I can earn trust. They know who they're buying from and may find that more appealing. Yeah, that works really well for you. It may not work for everybody. It's do what feels the most comfortable to you, because when you are more comfortable, and yeah, it's nerve-wracking being on Whatnot. It's nerve-wracking being live, but whatever makes you most comfortable is what is going to give the that vibe that you want. Of you don't want people to feel as nervous as you, right? That you don't want them to feed off of that. Um, Morty says just the items and very periodic view of host. Yeah, you can flip it back and forth. Deals on style. Good morning. Canadian Cafe says have a few 8-hour energy drinks. You will need the energy. I can't do. I can't do. I can no longer do caffeine. I'm now at that age where I can no longer do caffeine. Oh God, I'm old. So set the vibe and live that vibe. Look at your background. What is your background like? Is your background chaotic? Is it vibrant? Does it feel right? Is your lighting okay? For example, I just have this today. Now, if I didn't have the lighting on and I was trying to show something with this crap, what do I have that I can show? Usually, I usually have like 100 things surrounding me. So, like, I show this to you. Okay, you can kind of see it, right? With the cruddy lighting. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see what it says. You can kind of see it's okay, but it's kind of dull. And if I flip, then you can see more of the color. Now I don't have this at the perfect angle that I should. But you want to think about. Oh, I thank you, Genji. You want to think about what people are going to be looking at. Griff Good says, I struggle with people doing moving point of view, too much going on, stay stationary. Yeah, some people love having, scan shows and moving around. Other people, they don't want that. They just want, show me the stuff, move on to the next, especially cards. If you're selling like high end trading cards of any sort, they want to focus on the card. They want to see the card up close and personal. They want to see you moving it, turning it. They don't care about your face. Candy Bear Cafe says having a ring light with your camera lens in the middle can help improve lighting. Yeah, if I move, that's probably a little bit better, but I'm in my temporary setup, so it's not perfect. It's shadowy, but I'll live. So lighting is really important. What do you, if you're gonna show your face, what do you look like? And if you're not gonna show your face, what do your hands look like? Are they all dirty and crusty? Are they all ashy? I mean, I get really ashy and I have to keep reminding myself, look at that. I hate looking at my hands because I can see my mother's hands now. Oh man, I'm old. So you want to think about those things. Like if you are not going to be face first, then you don't need to worry about what this part looks like, but your hands are really important. You don't need to have fancy nails on, you just need to be clean. And give them a little bit of a manicure. Men, a manicure won't hurt you, and I promise it will not take your masculinity away or shrink anything. So don't worry, you can have a manicure too. You can give it to yourself or just use some damn lotion. um Genji says wash hands, trim nails, wear jewelry if you're selling jewelry. Yes, absolutely. And Canamber Cafe says it's not just lighting. Having a decent microphone and camera will help more for live shows. Yes. So one of the things that a lot of people forget to do is with their phones that they touch with their hands all the time is clean your camera lens. What Liz likes used to say this all the time: clean your camera lens. Hi, Crystal. Clean your camera lens. Clean it. Give it a good clean. Both. Make sure that you've got one of those little lens cleaners and clean your camera lens. People forget, plug in your phone. Yes, plug in the phone. Have it on charge, especially if you're running an iPhone. Have it on charge the entire time, um, because otherwise it's going to die on you. In this weather, if you're not in a air conditioned environment and you're running off of an iPhone or even an Android, it can overheat. And I've had I've had 2 shows now where the iPhone, like, died on me. So now I need to get something, a cooling mechanism for behind. Usually what I do is I get those thin, sandwich ones. Exactly. I get those thin sandwich. It's, you're not supposed to do this, but I just put a cooler, like basically a cooler attached to the back of it. A sandwich, one of those ones you put in kids' lunch boxes, the thin ones. I just use that behind, and it just keeps it cool enough that it doesn't overheat and die in the summer. But that can happen. It can happen in the winter too, but mostly in the summer. Um, you love to pull a Mariah Carey with fans. What's a Mariah Carey? I know what who she is, but I don't. I don't know what. I don't know what the Beyonce. I don't know. I'm too old. You have to explain these things. Okay, so was it hard to hear you? As Canambra Cafe says, your microphone's really important. Work with a fan blowing in your face. I had a fan that was blowing at me, but everyone could hear it. It was like pushing against the. So I was like, "What is that sound? It sounds like a helicopter's landing." Um, that's Beyonce. She will not be filmed without her hair blowing and 16 fans. Oh, yes, that makes sense. They would. It's probably very warm because that hair looks very heavy. Her hair looks like it's very voluptuous and heavy, and that would be hot. Also menopause. Um, Katy Perry's good. Canadian Cafe is gonna be more like Katy Perry. Gonna take it off. So if you're, one of the things too is your microphone. If you have a phone case, is your, or if you have a phone stand, is your microphone getting covered by the phone stand or the phone case? So you might want to figure out where your microphone is and just push your phone over slightly so the holder part isn't covering up the microphone. Um, was it hard to see details? If you were doing front facing and selling, and I want, this is, and these are questions I want you to ask yourself by rewatching your shows. I hate rewatching my shows, but I do it often because I want to see what I can improve, what went wrong, what I can improve. So did you go, when you go back to your shows, um would you stay in that room? Would you stay and watch yourself? When you watch the show, do you have fun remembering, like, were you having fun? Do you remember having fun? Were you not having fun? Was it a bad day for you, or was it just, you just don't enjoy the process? If you're not having fun, then no one else is going to have fun. The shipping should be coming down very soon. It's, the shipping should be starting to reduce now, crystal darlings. Um, so rewatch your shows. Were you going too slow? Too slow. There's, you can be slow, but were you going too slow? Like, was it taking you like 5 minutes to grab the next thing and run the next thing? Or were you going too fast? Like, if everything was going way too fast, some people will tune out because they they're missing out on things, and they get frustrated. Was your lighting bad? Was it hard to hear you? Did you have problems with internet connection? Was it pixely? When you rewatch it, is it pixely or is it clear? Um, was it hard to see the details because you were front facing? And so were you showing things to their best advantage? Would it be better to switch it? Yeah, test your Wi-Fi before you go streaming. You can just hit Google. You can Google speed test, and it will come up with a speed test, and you can test it to see if there's any issues. And if you need to, you can always switch from one Wi-Fi to, like, if you have a Wi-Fi extender. I have a Wi-Fi extender in the house that's just out the door. So whenever I go live in here, I switch to that Wi-Fi extender, and then I make sure that my other devices are all on the other one, so that I'm not sucking all the bandwidth out of the Wi-Fi extender. Stamp pickers, hello. Griffgood says sudden death versus soft close time extended thoughts. Yes. So that's kind of part of the, is it too fast or too slow? Sudden death is great if you have a super busy room. If you don't have a really busy room, then sudden death can lose you money because people, especially if you are not in a category where sudden death is used frequently, like if you're not in the trading cards category, then sudden death can be the death of extra sales for you. You're going to sell things for less than. You can adjust your soft close times. So I run like 10-second and 7-second auctions. So I'm running fast. And then I put it at usually 3 seconds. So instead of having it, thank you, Corey. Instead of having it, that it, that if someone bids, that it um, that, so if you bid, then in a 10-second auction and someone bids in it, then it increases it to another 10 seconds and keeps adding 10 seconds on, right? So I put it at 3 seconds. So I have it so that it's 10-second or 7-second auctions. And then if somebody bids, it only adds 3 seconds on. But you can adjust that and decide exactly how fast you want it to run. So if you want if you want the speed of sudden death, but you want to not miss out on any extra bids, because sudden death, it's it's whoever can swipe the fastest or type the fastest. Sudden death can lose you out on money because not everybody is fast enough to type a custom bid in. So you got to think about that. Not everybody moves fast. So I suggest doing fast auctions, but with reset times that the extension times are like, I wouldn't do 2 seconds. I found 2 seconds was not enough time for people to make a decision about whether or not, right? Because you got to think about, oh, do I not? Oh, okay, fine, right? Count that. Do I not? Okay, fine. Over and over again. That, yeah. Um, yeah, fast auctions are also they don't give people time to Google sold comps. So the one thing is that if I know I've got a really good piece that I know it's worth money, I will literally say, I'm gonna hold it up and count to three so you all can take a screenshot and and check out the sold comps. I will literally say it. I'll say it. I know what I know I do it, so why wouldn't I just acknowledge it? So I'll say, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna hold this up. This is a very rare piece of early American glass, antique. It glows in the dark. It does this. It does that. I'm gonna hold it up so you can check out the sold comps for it. Oh, I should take a drink. Um, Melody says I sometimes find a homemade ice. It is homemade ice. I sometimes find 10 seconds too slow. Yeah, I mean, I tried 7 seconds, but I found that 10 seconds is if I need to move faster, I will go down to 7 seconds. But again, if you want to do 30-second auctions, that's totally up to you. But the really key thing is if you've got listings, whether they are um, whether they are pre-listed or random pulls, is make sure that you pin what you're about to run before you talk about the item. So don't just hit start auction. I want you to pin, talk about the item, run the item, because that also gives more decision making time, and they can see how much that item is going to. Oh dear, there go the dogs. They will see how much that item is going to cost them for shipping, because shipping is another 2-second thought process, right? Pinning an item will show, yes, pinning an item shows the buyer what the shipping will cost. So for example, let me just pin this and I'm going to start a flash sale. I forgot to do this. I should do this more often. Start a flash sale and start pin start a flash sale. So it gives people time to decide how much it's going to cost them for shipping and whether that's worth it for them. Yes, add yourself to the train in the app. Absolutely. Styles by Thrifty Tiff. Hello. And this isn't from Sass. This is one of mine. This is one of mine that I've had for a while. That's one thing that need to work on is having items in my shop. Styles by Thrifty Tiff. Yeah. So just start with doing 15 to 20 minutes a day where you just sit down and you list. Just 15 to not big chunks, because it's too much. it overwhelms people. So I want you just to break it down. 15-20 minutes, half an hour if you can manage it. And if you get only two things done in that first 15 minutes, then the next day you might get three things done, and you'll get faster as you go. Yeah, so start with stuff that you really want to list and do those things first, and then work your way up, and eventually you will get into a rhythm and it will feel easier and it won't feel as daunting because you've broken it down into smaller steps and given yourself that time to learn it without the pressure of trying to get like 100 things listed all at once. Now, if you're doing a special raid train and you have to put in a whole bunch of hen on nests, and you need 100 of them at once, then obviously you're going to have to sit down and work on that. But if you're just adding things to your listing for your regular shows, then just do little chunks. Chew on that elephant one bite at a time. Hey Liz, how are you? Work on listings that what interests you first, and then the more varying items last. Yeah, because also the more interesting items are the ones that you're going to want to talk about and have fun talking about, and that is what is going to keep people's interest in your shows. So if you're bored with that item, then it's probably not an item that you want to spend time listing. Just run it as a random pull. Canadian Brick Cafe says, I'm doing 15 items a day after work, and next thing you know, you will have several hundred items online. That's how I got so many items listed to Whatnot. Yeah, you said you had 640 items listed on Whatnot. So little bites, and you will get there. That Malachi's Mad House is currently, I have 0 listed, but that's okay. Start with one thing. Just start with one thing and go from there. Don't try and do it all at once. It's like when you look at that death pile of things, you just go, oh God, it's just too much. I'm not going to do it. How much does the shop hold? I think you can, let me see. I think you can put like a few thousand things in your, it used to be that it was unlimited and then they changed it. So hang on. I'm going to get my keyboard on my lap so I can type this. You've seen two. I think 2K is, oh, that's a lot. What is the maximum number of items you can have in a Whatnot show? It's thinking. No. Create and sell a variance. How many marketplace items can I have? There is a number. There is actually a number, but it's not showing up. It's not. Oh. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I have 1,500 items listed before I moved to Vancouver Island. That's amazing. Yeah, so I think that for most people, 100 is kind of the maximum that most people are willing to flip through, right? Because it's like if think about how long it would take you to flip through that. So more is not necessarily better for per show. If you're having a specific show, say you're doing clothing, then and you have a whole bunch of stuff in your buy it now, then put a bunch of things in your buy it now, because then people can sort it by size and just find, I'm always looking for the extra large and the extra extra large. So I just go into their buy it now and I sort it. Yay, tip styles by tip. Okay, I will do that in a second. Remind me, I'm going to forget. Okay, so you got them into your show. You've looked at you got them into your show with an awesome thumbnail. They've stayed because you have a vibe that they like. So you want to find the vibe that you like and stick with that vibe. Cascade Willow says, when will this be up on your YouTube channel? I need to go back and rewatch some of this. It's live right now, and it usually takes a couple of hours for it to actually populate fully, and it'll be in my live section on my YouTube channel, which is The Red Rooster CA. So you're going to rewatch your shows and you're going to see, was I too fast? Was I too slow? Was I having fun? Was my lighting okay? Was my sound okay? Was the camera fuzzy? Or was the camera clear? Did I clean the lens beforehand? Um, is the internet connection okay? Um, is it better that I should be front facing, or should I be not front facing as much and show the items more clearly by using the other camera? Those are all questions you need to ask by going into your show. Good morning. I will always love vintage. How are you, Ali? Um, so if you watch your show and you bored yourself watching your show, then you probably need to figure out how to make it more fun for yourself. If you have more fun in your show, other people are going to have fun too. um, Ask yourself, what can I change that will make people want to stay? What would make me want to stay in this show? Ask that about your own show. Go into other people's shows and ask yourself, why am I staying here? Why have I not moved on to another show? Go and look at other shows. Why do I want to leave this show? You need to actually start asking yourself those questions and make a plan for yourself that works for you. Do not try, you can use what you like from other shows, but do not try to be someone else. It will not work. Um, uh, the Canadian Brick Cafe says if you're not having fun, it will show 1,000 times over camera. Yeah, absolutely. Um, and I'm very honest. When I'm not feeling well, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm not feeling good today. I apologize. Um, I'll always love vintage says for me, it's unboxing and the mystery of what the next item will be. Yeah. And some people hate that, right? Like some people can't stand it. They want to go into a show, they want to go into the store, they want to look at the listings, they want to ask for a certain item that's already pre-listed. Some people hate unboxing shows and other people love unboxing shows. And some people don't really like pre-listed shows and other people love them. So don't try and be all things to all people. If you enjoy unboxing and you've got a bunch of things to unbox, then do unboxing shows. If you don't like unboxing shows, then why would you do unboxing shows yourself? Again, you find what works for you, what you love, and it will change how people perceive you because the vibe that you give off is going to bring in other people. Melody says my setup yesterday was awful. I was like, we gotta go. We gotta do what we gotta do. And I'm never about to grind. Yes, I mean you, Melody. You have a big boot on now. Like you can barely move. No one expects you to be perfect. You did a great chat show, um, despite your physical limitations. So don't worry about that. You know, don't try to be perfect, everyone. Do not try to be perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Perfection is the thief of joy. Don't let your trying to acquire perfection take away the fun of doing this. Um, let's see. All right. Okay. I've got so many pages. All right. Did that. Did that. Yes. Okay. So next up, I want to talk about visibility. Um, be natural and true to you. Canadian Bread Cafe, you're totally right. So, um, the other part, so you got people into your shows. Your thumbnail was awesome. You got people into your shows. You're enjoying yourself, so they're enjoying yourself. You're starting to build a community. You're starting to build people that want to join you in your shows. Um, but how do you increase your exposure? So there is promote tools. Promote tools is part of Whatnot's features. You can actually pay to have, basically it's an ad. And if you've ever been scrolling through and seen a little mice type above that says sponsored, that's because somebody is using promote tools to promote their show while they're live, and you can pay for that. Usually, it's about $25 an hour, depending on your category. For me, in estate sales and vintage decor and jewelry, and that, it's around $25 an hour. You can spend less than that, but promote tools is only as good as the others, will only work if the other stuff is working. So if your thumbnail sucks, if your thumbnail is boring or cluttered or looks like AI slop, and people don't want to click in, then you can spend $100 an hour on promote tools and not have any click throughs. Um, your thumbnail has to be click worthy because it's your ad. It's the ad. Whatnot is you're only paying Whatnot to show your thumbnail more often to more people. Um, if they click in, if your thumbnail's great and they click in and crappy it's a crappy setup, the lighting's bad, the sound is bad, it's all pixely because you're away from Wi-Fi, um, then they're not going to stay. So they may click in, but they're going to swipe right out again. So promotion works best when the rest of the stuff in your show is working. I don't recommend using promote tools if you haven't first fixed thumbnail and your show's vibe first, because if you're just spending money that's not going to translate into sales. The other thing too is when you use promote tools, don't think of it as purely about making sales. You may get extra follows. If that person has come into your show once, if they click into your show, the algorithm will show you to them again, even if they didn't follow you. You will get up in the priorities. So it does have future benefits. So don't think of it as I spent $25. Did an hour-long show. I spent $25 on promote tools. Nobody who came in bought anything, but I got five follows out of it, and 50 people clicked into my show. Those 50 people are going to get shown you again because that's the way the algorithm is currently written. So promote tools will actually have extra benefits beyond just that one show. So don't think of it as just the one show if you're going to use promote tools. But again, if you don't have a great thumbnail, no one's going to click in, and if or very few people are going to click in. And then if you don't have an exciting show, they're not going to stick around. So you want to make sure that also that you share your shows. Market yourself. I cannot say this enough. Whatnot gives you all kinds of tools to share your shows. When you go into your show, you'll see a share your show band, and you can click on that and it'll give you all kinds of options for different social media. Yes, you can message people within the app. Use that sparingly. Do not just start spamming everybody that you don't know and telling them about your show and just sharing the show and not saying anything. Though if you are going to share your show using Whatnot's direct messages, add something to it. Like Shauna would send me a message and say, "I'm having a show next weekend. I'm going to be live on the boat. We're going fishing. I hope you can join us." And then she's got the link to the show. I'm going to bookmark that because Shauna made a personal connection with me. Do you know if spamming is any kind of Whatnot? Yes. Whatnot does have community guidelines against spamming. If you're just messaging like 100 people willy-nilly, people can report you if you keep messaging them over and over again with things they don't want to see. Plus, if you message people who don't follow you back, so you follow them but they don't follow you, you're not friends on Facebook. It's friends on Whatnot. I'm tired. Can you tell? If you're not friends on Whatnot, it's going to go into message requests, and a lot of people forget to look at that. Melody says it drives me crazy when people spam me. I won't go into the show out of spite. I if I will often I will usually bookmark the show. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be able to come in, but I will bookmark it. So share your shows and market yourself. Use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you've got that you use on a regular basis. And if you don't yet have any of those things, whenever I say that, people say, I don't have that yet. Well, think about starting one thing. If you don't have social media yet, start with just one thing. If you need a family member, a grandkid, a neighbor to help you out, pick one thing and try that one thing. Whether it's try Instagram or try Facebook, you don't need to have a big following. Just get started on sharing your shows. Shared shows are when you share your show, it's sending a signal to the algorithm that this is a show that is probably going to have more success than other shows. Um, This platform is just that. It's a platform. It's not an advertising agency. Whatnot's job is not to advertise for you. You need to do your own marketing, right? Just because if you had a store in the mall's job is not to do all your advertising for you. The mall's job is just to give you a clean space with light, heat, etc., and all the other advantages. But their job is not to like force people to come into your shop, right? They don't have security guards going, I'm sorry, you can't walk any further down this hallway until you walk into Melody's store. Go into Melody's store, then once you've gone into that store, then you can continue walking down the mall. That's not how it works. So Whatnot is just a platform. Whatnot is a tool that you can use, but it is not your advertising agency. You need to do your own marketing, and the more often you do that and share your shows, um, the better it will be for you. The other thing is I see a lot of new sellers who book one or two shows, and that is it. And they do those one or two shows, and during their show, they're like, "I hope you come back," but they can't say bookmark my show because there's no shows to bookmark. Always have at least 10 shows on your, I mean, I have way too many, but don't do what I do. But always have shows scheduled, multiple shows scheduled in advance. You can move those shows around. You can change the times. Yeah, and there's a setting for repeat. Thank you, Ali. I will always love vintage. There is a setting that you can do 10 shows at a time. So you can say at Tuesday mornings, starting at 7 a.m. And then it says there's a part that says repeat and it says does not repeat. Click on that, and then you can make it so that it's weekly, that every Tuesday. And then you can say up to 10. So every month, every 2 weeks. Yes, absolutely, Ali. It makes so much sense. And it instantly, with one thumbnail and one title and all the other things, you've created 10 shows all at once. And then if you need to move them around, you can move them around, but at least they're already there. If you don't know when you're going to go live, if you're somebody that does pop-ups because your life is chaotic and you cannot be consistent, that's okay. Create a show that you repeat 10 times, that you put way in the future, and call it bookmark me for pop-up, and call it a pop-up show. That's the thumbnail. Pop-up, bookmark me. And because thumbnails are gold. Styles by Thrifty Tiff says, woo, you guys are fast. Uh, when I did that, my bookmarks increased in people attending my shows. Yeah. Um, Canadian Bread Cafe says it's my birthday today. The big 4-6. Join me tonight when I get home from work. No reasonable offer will be refused. You know what this means, Canadian Bread Cafe. It's your birthday, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Canadian Brick Cafe. Happy birthday to you. Yay. I'll always love interest says if you take the time to create one show, you might as well hit repeat and make 5 or 10 at once. Exactly. Um, the Shaggy Raven says, my last show was the best yet personally. The anxiety is starting to lessen. I love that. Did a different setup, and I figured out how to chat continuously. I love that. Pac-Man Girl says, made a huge difference. Why I started, I had 6 people bookmarking. Now I have over 100 bookmarks. I love that. Your phone screen cracked. Sorry. I'm sorry. You can send me the bill. Um, so advertising is really important. Pre-booking your shows is really important. Um, Bookmarks are gold. Tom, who's the chief product officer for Whatnot, he said bookmarks are gold. And if he says something, believe him. Have a great day, Canadian Brick Cafe. Believe him. Bookmarks are gold. CG Boomerang, Echo, good morning. How are you? So, asking for bookmarks. But if you don't have shows for people to bookmark, You can't get a single bookmark from that. So again, if you want to do pop-ups, if you're only going to do pop-ups or you're not sure when you're going to go live, that doesn't mean you can't pre-book shows. Schedule 10 shows and call them pop-ups. And you know what? You're going to build bookmarks from that. And always be asking for bookmarks. Always be saying in your shows, please bookmark my shows. Again, this is do as I say, not as I do. I always forget to say this. Please bookmark my upcoming shows. I'm going to be doing shows next week. Um, Cascade Willow says, my little one, 6-year-old, wants me to tell you he likes your show. Oh, I like you, little one. Hello, little one. How are you? Waving. Taco Thrift, you are quite welcome. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so you've advertised your shows. Pac-Man Girl, thank you for the tip. You are awesome. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. He waves back. Yay. I love it. So incentives. I want to talk about incentives. So we've talked about visibility. You're asking for bookmarks. You're getting bookmarks. Sleek Style says, I finally started creating more bookmarks. Oh, thank you, Pac-Man Girl. You're so sweet. So coupons. Why am I saying that in how to attract new buyers is also about coupons? You can advertise coupons in your social media. You can create a coupon and call it Instagram and say, use coupon code Instagram in my next show to get $5 off your next purchase of $15 or more, or $20 or more. You will be amazed at how many people will take advantage of that, and it will attract attention. Deals on Stealth says it would be cool to know who bookmarked the show, like seeing who liked to post on IG. Ooh, I don't know if they'll ever do that, but that's an interesting suggestion you can always make to them. Melly's gonna be doing a jewelry show today. Yay! I'm gonna. I think I booked it for today. Yes, I'm going to be doing later on today. I keep getting distracted. Later on today, I am going to be starting to do my mom's estate sale. I'm going to go through and unbox things, and this is going to be a slow show because I'm going to unbox and research these things, most of these things. But I'm going to start going through some boxes of my mom's stuff. So I may cry. How do we feel about sellers tagging buyers during their shows? You know, that used to be a really common thing on Whatnot. I think that if you know, like if I know that I Will Always Love Vintage was looking for a particular type of plate and I have a whole bunch of those plates, then I would tag I Will Always Love Vintage. But I think the key thing about tagging somebody in a live show is tell them why. Don't just say I'll always love vintage. If you tag the Red Rooster and don't say why I should come in, I'm not going to come in because I get tagged a lot. I get tagged a lot. I can't come in. And if I have time, I will come in. Sometimes if someone says your help is needed or something and I have the time, I will try and pop in to see if I can help. But if I know that if I know, for example, Donna, absolute flipping deals, if there's watches or stuff like that, I will tag her and say watches so she knows. Um, thank you. I tag people to share to my buyers where I got my earrings or dress from. I love that. Yeah. So if somebody, um, you had to do the same for your mom's estate. I mean, I'm an auctioneer, so I'm used to. I think I'll be okay most of the time, but I might be telling stories about some of the stuff. Some of the stuff probably has stories, so you never know. Um, Taka Thrift says, I share my show to the ones that have an open box on my last show of the week to maximize their weekly bundling. That's that's a really good point. Yeah. So if you have folks that you're going to be doing that last Sunday show before weekly bundling closes, um, Select by Sophie says it feels pressury to me, like buy my stuff, but yes, most of the time it comes from a good place. Yeah, as long as it's coming from a good place. If you're just gonna start your show and then start tagging people, it that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to bring people in. If they've bookmarked your show, they're gonna get an alert. And some people have all their notifications turned off, so they won't even come in even if you tag them. Um, uh yeah, I mean, I get tagged a lot, so I'm more on the like, tell me why, tell me why you want me. I think, oh, Deals on Style says, I think that practice comes from Poshmark. Yeah, probably. So it made sense on Poshmark. It doesn't make as much sense on Whatnot. People are just, it's not something that we typically do. But if you've got poshies, sorry, I call them poshies. If you've got poshy buyers that are from your Poshmark who have followed you to Whatnot and they're used to you tagging them on Poshmark, then it would make sense for you to tag them on Whatnot. Does that make sense? Like, if you know them and you know that they're used to being tagged on Poshmark, but you're over on Whatnot now and they've followed you, then totally, totally, totally do that. Um, Thank you so much, Pac-Man Girl. I only tag people if there's something I think they'd like or what they're looking for, but not often, and usually buyers I know versus sellers. What Liz likes says, I have notifications turned off, but I'm often on Whatnot at the same time. So if you show up regularly and I bought from you, you'll be on my For You page. Yes, absolutely. So some people have their notifications turned completely off. I have only notifications for bookmarked shows and um, saved items. That's my notifications. You won't be told if you just go live because I've turned that off because I follow way too many people, and you can't. Dear Whatnot, you need to make it possible for us to pick our favorites and say these are the ones that we want to get notifications from, and turn and have that selection because it's right now it's all or nothing. Um, Dear Whatnot, please, please, please. Okay, so let's talk about incentives. Coupons are really great. You can use them in your marketing prior to your show to encourage buyers to come in because they've got a coupon that they can use in that show. You can even set up coupons so that they're only usable in that show. You can go to seller.whatnot.com, go to marketing and promotion, and coupons are under that section at seller.whatnot.com. Coupons can be also offered in your show notes, and you can mention it, or you can have it if you've got a background, you can put a little sign that says coupon code today is this. Um, Coupons help with that, to break that hesitation. Um, Coupons isn't just about discounting, it's about reducing that hesitation. So a first time buyer coupon reduces that fear, and an end of show coupon creates a reason to act. So you give them a end of show coupon that they can use in your next show. Or when you package items, you can slip in a coupon code. You can write it or you can have them pre-printed and just say, thank you so much for your purchase. Here's a coupon you can use in the next show. Um, it's not bribing people. It's about lowering friction and making it easier for them to say yes to that item. Just make sure that you can afford whatever discount you're offering. So if you're doing $1, $2, $5 starts, a lot of coupons are not really the thing that you want to do. Um, okay, I'm cognizant of time. So that's incentives. Now, I want to talk about a Canadian thing for a second. So if you're not from Canada or Australia or Germany or Austria or some in the UK, just hang on. We'll get back to general things. In Canada, we have weekly bundling. And I think weekly bundling is a buyer magnet. Um, Weekly bundling helps with the greatest friction of all with sales on Whatnot in Canada, which is shipping costs. So shipping is the biggest friction point. When a buyer wins one item and knows everything else ships in the same box for that week, they relax. And relaxed buyers buy more. They come back to your shows throughout the week. Um, and they know I already paid shipping. I might as well keep filling my box, right? Like I've already broken shipping, might as well go in and see if she's got anything else for me. If you've won something, you can say this in your show. If you've won something this week, your shipping is unlocked. Bookmark the next show so you can keep filling your box because the amount that they'll pay for their next item and their next item is very small compared to that first item purchase on Whatnot. That is the most expensive shipping. And then after that, it is just small fractions. Bundling turns random buyers into weekly shoppers, and weekly shoppers become predicted revenue. So if you aren't offering weekly bundling, I suggest you seriously consider it because it is going to be a game changer for sales for you. And then you can also advertise that when you're marketing your show. You can say, I have weekly bundling turned on, save on purchases from me throughout the week. Now, people say, I only do one show a week or one show a month. I don't need weekly bundling. Okay, but do you have items listed in your store that someone could buy at 3 a.m. From your shop? Do you have stuff in your buy it now that they could buy? If they buy in your show, in your show, you can say, and by the way, I've got like 100 things that I have available also that are available to you 24/7. You can come shop my store on Whatnot 24/7, and then um, it'll be all in one box. It will bundle with your weekly bundling. So if you only do one show a week or one show a month, weekly bundling is still something that you should offer. Also, because you never know when you're going to decide to do a pop up. Maybe you're never ever going to do a pop up and you're determined never to do a pop up, but never say never, as Justin Bieber would say. Eleni Starr said, you mentioned the problem of custom profile shop items being bundled, even if you want these items to ship separately. Yes, right now the custom shipping profiles will all bundle. The only thing is that if you put a really big box size, then that becomes your default box size. So they will get charged for a large box, a very large box. So um, again, my items that I only want to ship separately are at such a high price point that if they do end up bundling with a weekly bundle, then I will eat the cost of a shipping adjustment to ship that separately. I would just use a shipping adjustment to unbundle that particular item if I needed to. Sometimes I can still ship it with other things. It just depends on what the item is, because I'm an over, if you haven't bought from me, I'm an over shipper. I overpack, and I like it that way. Okay. So I've talked about weekly bundling. Um, Rewards club and building your community. Two really different things. But let's talk about rewards club first. Once you hit milestones, one of them being $1,000 in gross sales on Whatnot and a few other things, but $1,000 gross sales is usually the highest bar that has to be met. That's the most challenging for people. Once you've hit that, you will be able to use rewards club and offer rewards club in your shows. Yeah, Melody says, I still remember the football. I actually wrapped the football and then wrote, I can't believe I just wrapped a football. um so people love progress systems. Okay, people love levels and badges and milestones, and that's why it's called gamification. So that's why Whatnot introduced rewards club, because they know that people love that gamification. And when buyers see that there's a path, a club, a tier, a reward, they imagine themselves staying so that they can get to the next level. In fact, I had somebody in my show the other day who's like, I just need to spend another $2 in order to get to the next level. Can you run that thing again so I can get to the next level? Yeah, it's definitely comes from that part of the world for sure. Deals on style. You are correct. Um, so you're building this fun environment. So Starbucks Rewards Club is a good example of a rewards club that works, because once people start earning some points, they're more likely to return, and then they get that gold card and la di da, et cetera, and there's more perks. And so, of course, they're going to continue to go back to Starbucks because they've got that card in their pocket or on their virtual wallet. Um, it's a small commitment, but it creates repeated behavior. So if you would like to keep people coming back, and you've got Rewards Club available to you, I suggest you set up Rewards Club. Just be very careful to only offer discounts that you can afford to offer. Don't go overboard. Um, the next thing is really important, is building community, and this takes time. This is not something that happens for most people overnight. It takes time to build a community. It takes time to decide what your vibe is and how you want to run shows. And you know what? You're going to continue to evolve. You're going to evolve and change. Whatnot's going to add new features, and you're going to want to try those out, like flash sales. And that is going to change your vibe a little bit, but your general vibe is you as a human being. And you're going to find that there's going to be people who will stay with you and come back because it's you. And that's going to seem, for some of us, that seems weird. Like, what do you mean you're coming back for me? That's so sweet. Oh my gosh. But you're building a community, you're building friendships. And so, YUG Picker says, I think I'm finally getting there with much thanks to you. Awesome. Yes. So it's all about building that community. That takes time. It does not happen overnight. But stay true to yourself. Stay true to what's most comfortable to you when you're running shows, how you want to run shows. Go to other shows and learn from other people. See how they run things in your category and outside your category. I've gotten great ideas from Pokemon sellers, and I've gotten great ideas from fashion sellers, and I don't necessarily usually sell in either of those categories. You take what you like and leave the rest. Just like if you come into this show today, take the information that you like, leave the rest. Don't worry about that. Take what you like and leave the rest. And then create the whatnot that you want to have for you. And then people will come to that. People will flock to you. It just takes time. Do not give up before the magic happens. Too many people come on this app, they do it for 3 months or a month, and they say, it's not working. I'm not getting enough people in my shows. And they're also, again, comparison is a thief of joy. They're like, I see all these big sellers, and all these big sellers have all these people, and they've got all these bids. How much time, energy, and work did it take for them to get where they are today? You go watch the Hodgepodge place. She's busted her rear end. She has done whatever it takes day and night to build the kind of audience that she has now. Don't be jealous of that. Don't try and compare yourself to that. I'm never going to get to the Hodgepodge level. It took her a couple of years and more to get where she is, and she's still building. So and that's a major hustle happening. Like, do not compare yourself to that if that is not the same level of commitment that you're able to provide. So would I love to have those kind of numbers? Yeah, but am I going to? No. And I'm okay with that, because you know what? This is as much as I can give, and this is as much as I can do. And so that's so vital, is that you, again, comparison is a thief of joy. So don't compare yourself against bigger sellers, because at the end of the day, they all started off in the exact same place you are. So don't don't try and compare yourself to them. Compare yourself to where you were a month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and just keep building from there. Small increments. And by the way, if you want to set yourself up with a goal plan for yourself that is a little bit less daunting than a full annual plan, go to my free resources for whatnot sellers is down below. I have a goal planner. There's an annual part to it, but there's also a 4-week cycle that I created for whatnot sellers that has specific actions for you to take over 4 weeks to try and implement new ideas, or tweak different things in your shows. And then you can look at it over a 4-week period, and then you can make adjustments. You can reflect, and then you can make adjustments, and then build again. So instead of having big, lofty annual goals, which I don't have a problem with, but I think they can be daunting for a lot of people, I have a 4-week cycle. So you do 4 weeks of this cycle, then you repeat it, you scaffold yourself, and again and again, and keep going up. So go down here to free resources for whatnot sellers. You can just tap on that QR code. It'll make it bigger, screenshot it, then you can open it up later in your app, and it will open up onto the on and open you up to my whole resources, which includes the goal planner. There's a whole bunch of other resources too, but the goal planner is what I want you to think about. So remember that your show is an experience. This is like QVC, the shopping channel on steroids, right? So your show is an experience. You're entertaining. So you want to think of your buyers as your community and your friends, not as just, numbers, or just Elaine's daughter. That's it. I want to think about all the background of that person. Get to know your customers. Get to know the people that come into your room. Greet people when they come to the room. I apologize. I haven't been greeting everybody today because I got a lot to go through. But you want to say hi to people. You want to chat a little bit. But do not, I've noticed this one thing I've noticed in some shows where your bestest westest friend comes in. And then you're like, "Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so great to see you. Thank you, Global Stamp Network. It's so great to see you. How are you doing? How are the kids?" And you start having a side conversation for like 5 minutes with one person. How do you think that makes everybody else in the room feel? If you're just having a conversation with your friend and nobody else in the room. You got a whole bunch of people in the room, but you're focused on this one person and having a long conversation. Make sure that you're like, "Oh my god, we'll have to talk later. So great to see you." And then they say something like, "Oh my gosh, that I'm sorry to hear that. We'll have to talk later, hun. We'll definitely talk later." And then get back to the selling. Your friend will understand, and if your friend doesn't understand, then they're not your friend. Not really. Okay. Uh Baby girl 86 says, "I like to talk with everyone like a group chat while selling." Yes. I mean, imagine if you were in a physical environment, right? And you're hanging out with a bunch of friends and you only talk to one person and ignore everybody else. Do you think everybody else is going to like you for very long? Do you think everybody else is going to want to talk to you later? No. If they could, they'd swipe away, but they're physically in front of you. Um, so reframe your thinking about having customers to having a community. Community is the key to whatnot. If you do this, if you start thinking of them as community, as your friends, you are on your way to building a stronger business on whatnot because you've created a community. Now, bringing them back, you can attract new buyers with all those things we've talked about before, but then also you want to attract people to come back again. How do you do that? Great shipping. Ship on time. Try not to be late if you can help it. Ship on time. Ship well. Make sure that things are wrapped cleanly, that they're safe and secure, that you haven't just shoved it all into a bag and hope for the best. Present, you want to imagine that person opening the package and that being an experience. I always think about when I open up a box and the first thing I pull out, I want it to look nice. I want it to be like, "Oh, there's her card and there's her sticker. Okay." And then, "Oh, here's my receipt. Oh, there's the note from Kim." And then I open it up and the next thing and the next thing. People, people have said about my packing that is like opening up a present, multiple presents. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. I want it to be safe and secure, but I want you to feel like you're unwrapping a present to yourself. Yeah, and make sure it's clean. I mean, I reuse as much as I possibly can. But I'm always trying to make sure that, my husband will bring a box and say, "This box will work." And I'll be like, "It's got an oil stain on it. We cannot use that box." He'll be like, "It's fine." Because he's a cisgender male. It's very typical. But it's like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. No, go get me a clean box. That box is for donations. That's not for using for shipping. Um, Make sure your listings are honest. Honest listings. If there are flaws, make sure you tell about the flaws. Be honest about the items so there's no surprises. I will tell you, I'll say there's smudge on this. Like when I'm doing unboxing shows, there's things are dirty. I will say it's got dust. Dust is free. Here's some sticker smudge on it. That's free too. I will say being honest leads to less disappointment and upset. Um, Coupons and a thank you note are a great thing to add into a box. I used to do coupon cards with every single shipment. Now that I have Rewards Club, as soon as you make your first purchase from me, you instantly get into my Rewards Club. So I no longer do that. But I used to have like scratch off cards. Do I have samples? Did I keep the samples? I think I threw them out. I had scratch off cards. And you can buy these little scratch off stickers on Amazon, and Temu and other places for super cheap. And then just print on your thermal printer a 2-inch circle, and then you can put the coupon code in the middle. And I just had like scratch me for coupon code, and then they could use that. Then they could use that coupon code, and it was just a fun little extra thing that people love. I even put it in with giveaways because I want to turn a giveaway, because coupons turn into buyers. If you use a coupon, then you've bought from me, right? So a coupon is a guaranteed buyer. A giveaway is not a guaranteed buyer, but a coupon is a guaranteed buyer because if they use it, then they've bought something from you. And I always add just a quick thank you. It's no more than that. I used to write a whole letter, and I love receiving letters when I buy from people, but I don't expect it because I don't do it anymore because I just don't have time. So I just write a quick thank you. Um, Make sure, if you can, have consistent shows bring back buyers, because because not only does the algorithm like consistency, but your buyers like the consistency of knowing, what am I going to do Monday morning? I'm going to go to What's Up Girls show, right? What am I going to do on Friday afternoon? I'm going to go to Stacy's mom. It's all about creating a new, like you tune into television. Like once upon a time when we used to tune into television stations, and we'd, Friday night at 9 p.m., it was Dallas. I'm dating myself. 9 p.m. was Dallas. And so, um, come hell or high water, my mother was going to make sure that we were at the cottage by 9 p.m. and that everything was unpacked from the vehicle so that she could sit down and watch Dallas. So it's kind of like that, is like tuning into, um, they know that they can tune into you, and that they're going to have something that they can do on their Friday night or their Saturday night or their Sunday morning, whatever it is, they know they can count on that. And then the most important thing in creating community and bringing people back is what I've said a million times throughout this show, is you want to have a vibe that you love, because if you love your vibe, they will also love it. The people that you attract are your people. They're people like you, and that's who you want. The things that you love are what you're going to sell. Sell what you love what you do, have fun in your shows, and those people are going to come back because they're like you and they like what you like. And so they're going to buy from you because they like what you like. And they're going to know to come back to you because they know that you like what they like, and they're going to find what they want in your show. So that kind of consistency is also important, of keeping true to yourself. When people say, what kind of inventory should I buy? Buy what you like, because it's easier to sell what you like than to try and sell stuff you don't like. Okay, have we made it to the end? Oh wait, there was a Z I was supposed to go to. Go to Z. Go to Z. Go to Z. Where did I put Z? Oh, love of Jesus. No. No. I will find it. Go to Z. Yes. Okay. Oh, this is just okay. Bookmarks. I already talked a little bit about bookmarks, but I want to re-emphasize how important bookmarks are. Bookmarks are gold. And this is part of Cialdini's principles. This is commitment and consistency. So when people take a small action like bookmarking your show, they're more likely to take a bigger action later. So when you ask people for small actions like a bookmark, not only is it going to have a high priority notification that's going to go out to them with that bookmark when you go live, but it's also a micro commitment that turns into more likely a bigger action later. So they've already told themselves that they want to come back, and that action will help to reinforce when they see that notification that, oh, yeah, that's something I wanted to come back to. So bookmarks are gold, not because they look good, not because it looks good to have, 20 bookmarks for your show, but because they change behavior as well as send out a high priority notification. Unlike a follow, bookmarks are more likely to appear as those high note those notifications, and because at some point you start following way too many people and you start adjusting your notifications to only being bookmark shows. A follow is very passive, but a bookmark means intent. Um, so when they get notified of the show that they've saved, that's starting in their brains to instantly say that microsecond that you have, that point one to half a second, is yes, this is someone that I want and who I trust. So make sure that you're asking for bookmarks. So please bookmark my shows. Go up to my profile and bookmark my shows. Okay. So in conclusion, holy cow, I this isn't as long as the first time I did this. Most new buyers will not buy in your first show, and that's totally normal. So do not expect that just because someone comes in and is introduced to you for the first time that they're necessarily going to buy from you that first time. But it is creating a return path. When they come into your shows, the algorithm says, "Oh, you've gone into that show before. I'm going to show you that show, that person again because they're live again, and you went and you visited their show before." Follow is long-term visibility, so for sure ask for follows, but ask for bookmarks because that's immediate intent. Bookmarks are your gold. Um, so you can always say in your shows, if tonight wasn't your buying night, that's okay. Follow me so you can find me again and bookmark my next show so you don't miss out on the awesome deals that I have for you. And then say, and if you've unlocked your shipping this week, make sure you come back so you can fill your box. So make sure you bookmark all my shows this week so you can come back and fill up your box because you've already unlocked shipping. And this is really key. A lot of people on Whatnot perceive that Whatnot is about low starts, dollar starts, or it's about shouting and being loud and being obnoxious. Um, you don't grow on Whatnot by shouting louder. You grow by making buying feel safe. Now, if your personality is shouting and being loud, then that's what you want to bring to Whatnot. That's the vibe you want to bring to Whatnot. But if that's not you, you don't have to do that. You do not have to do $1 starts in order to attract buyers. In fact, some people avoid $1 start shows because they perceive that the stuff must be not that great if it's only starting at a dollar. Oftentimes, you doing lower pricing actually reduces buyer trust in what you're selling because they just think of it as cheap trash. That's the reality. The brain goes, oh, it's cheap. Something must be wrong with it. You should be careful. If you have it at a reasonable price, this is a different story. So think not that you have to be dirt cheap in order to attract buyers. Does $1 starts work for a lot of people? Absolutely. They build a business around it, and that's fine. But if you can't afford to do that and you can't afford to wait 6 months of selling things at $1 each and making like 20 to 30 cents on each item, but then you've spent more than that on shipping materials and your time, if you can't afford that, then don't do that. Okay, so that is it for me. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to look at the questions that are here to see if anybody asked anything outside of what we were talking about today. I don't think so. No, I think we're good. I think we're actually good. Okay. 59 cents. 59 cents. If you're lucky. Mine are usually 30 cents because guaranteed somebody who lives really far away from me, Sandra, is going to buy it's going to buy the thing. That's what I've always found. Because I mean, you lose 30 cents just from the yeah, it's usually 31 cents for me. I don't know why, but whenever I do dollar starts every once in a while, but not for like the entire show. Like I might say, I'm just going to run this for $1 because it's like somebody added to their box. Might as well add it to their box and get it out of my house. Okay. Sell $1 earrings, but hundreds of them. Yes, you can do that for sure. Sell $1 earrings, but hundreds of them, as long as you don't have that much in the game. Yeah, that works perfectly. Absolutely. And once they've unlocked shipping, how am I liking the new labeling thing, Deals on Style, that I'm doing, which isn't new, it's just new to me. So what Deals on Style is asking about is I started using Whatnot's already in their system. When you sell something, you can print a label and you can watch I think I showed on my Friday show. I showed throughout the week this that last week and this week. I did like it. I just wish that it didn't involve as many clicks as it does. There are some apps that, or there's some software. There's two different companies in the states that have like an automatic thing, but one of them I don't like where it numbers boxes for me. I don't need that. I don't need a numbered box for like each person. I don't need that. I don't want that. I want what the item, who bought it, and what the item is, so that I can cross reference it with my list. I don't want to just shove it in a box. I want to make sure I did it right. Um, but I do like the labeling. It definitely sped up um, my shipping. What size labels do you need for that? Why did you pick or ask? I'm using 2-inch by 1-inch labels, and that's worked okay for me. You could probably go with smaller. I know D-Archivist has like the little tiny price tag type size labels, and that's what she uses. Um, so yeah, that it just depends on how you want it formatted. I like the 2-inch by 1-inch, and I found they were cheaper to buy than the smaller ones, so that's the one I got. Maybe like 1-inch by 1-inch might work. But I like the 2-inch by 1-inch, because let me see if I can print off one. I'll go into an old show. Hang on. Past. Open show. So I'll just show it really quickly. Hold on, everyone. So this is the high tech part of the night. Okay, so as you can see, there's my sold, and we're going to go to this one, and I hit print item tag, and it pops up with the item tag, and then I just hit create print, and oops, sugar. Ah! Sorry, let's try that again. I didn't have it set up to the right printer. Oh, that's too funny. It's about to print on, so to make sure the size is right. Okay, so there it is. Now I hit print. There it is. Just like that. Just like that. Oh, thank you, Sandra. You're so sweet. Hi, Eric Thrifter. How are you? Welcome in. Yeah, so if you printed, if you accidentally send it to the wrong printer, it's going to be this big. But yeah, 2-inch by 1-inch works easy for me. And then the only thing is that I only have my one thermal printer set up. So anytime when I need to print my other labels, I need to switch. But eventually I'll have both thermal printers hooked up, and then I can just pick which one. I can say this one's my mailing label printer, and this one is my sales. But it definitely sped things up. It made things a lot faster when I was doing all the vintage decor, because all I had to do was just slap that on. Or with the books, I just put it inside the book. I didn't take it off I kept it on the little piece of paper. So just put it in the book like that. Don't peel it. Just stick it in the book. And then it was easy for me to figure out whose was whose without me having to stop, because I'm by myself, right? So I didn't have to stop and go, hang on a second, let me put that here. No, I could just go, okay, next one. And I could run a lot faster. And I didn't have to stop. That didn't take me that long. Like, so I'd say, thank you so much for that purchase. Oh my gosh, that's great. And while I'm saying that, I'm printing at the same time. So it's that fast. I'm thinking just switch the label rather than get a second printer. Yeah, you can do that. I have a second printer. It's just currently in storage because it was downstairs. So I have a second printer. So I will just set up that second printer so I don't have to switch back and forth between the labels. But yeah, so I just have my labels. I've been switching back and forth. So those are my mailing labels, waiting for when I need to do mailings. Okay, let me just close that back out again, so I'm in the right one. All right, so any other questions anybody has? And just a reminder that all of this is going to be available on the Red Rooster CA on YouTube and on Facebook. and on Twitch as well. So you can rewatch this again. Let's find someone to raid into. And I will be back on another chat show Friday and Saturday of next week. Let's see who it suggests to raid. Oh, Vintiquity is on. Who else is on that's this person's new to me. Czar Blue Treasure Shop. We'll be home soon with 2 full bags of garage sale. We'll be home soon. Does that mean you're not home yet? Hang on. I always worry. Am I about to take you into a show that's not Czar Blue? Let's see. Oh, no. Is live. Okay. Go find those jellycats. Yes, jellycats are all the rage, aren't they? All right, we're gonna raid into Czar Blue's treasure shop. Everyone put some Canadian flags in the chat, and then just stay for a minute to say hi, and then go wherever your little heart desires. I love you guys. Have an awesome day, and I will see you possibly tonight to go through my mom's stuff. Bye for now.